The following presentation does not represent Australian opinion or intellect.
Fake news, folks. Fake news.
Are you Muslim?
He should have been slapped as a child. He's a spoiled little freak rat who's probably being treated like a prince.
I'm not a criminal. I've earned everything I've got.
You also had people that were very fine people on both sides.
What's happening?
Not much.
Why'd you sleep well?
Well, I didn't sleep well because I was fucking. You know what it is that you go to bed. It's alright. It's 2:00. Go to bed. You know, and then you've got your fucking phone, and it's just like YouTube, comedy, and then forget about it. You know,
That's why I turned off all notifications from Insta.
right?
Like I'm not on Facey obviously anymore, but I turned off all notifications on Instagram because for that reason alone, I just didn't want to be up till fucking God knows what time doing that sort of shit.
Yeah, dude. Like it's.
It was like, fuck, when was the last time I saw you? I don't even remember.
Probably before I went to Canada, even before that.
When did you go to Canada?
A year and a half ago now, yeah.
Really?
I left in July 2018,
I
yeah.
feel like I saw you were you at Alex's premiere for Underbelly or not?
At his place?
Yeah.
Yeah.
You were there?
Yeah.
Maybe that's when I last saw you.
Yeah.
When the hell was that? No, like, seriously.
I don't know. Are we recording or is this...
Yeah, we're fine.
Yeah, right.
What are you laughing at?
I don't know, it's good.
What do you mean?
Like...
You busted my balls to get down here.
Well, I did, and I wanted to talk about, I don't know about your listeners,
Fucking hell, man.
how many listeners do you have, but it's always good to, I want to talk about film and Canada and all that sort of stuff. So, and it's like, if you're doing any type of creative stuff, just get to fucking Vancouver, man. Like,
I don't think that's the interesting thing about you, though.
okay,
Because I've known you, dude. I remember you from when you were fronting a fucking band.
yeah.
When was that? How old are you now?
I'm 31.
Yeah, I know you're younger than me.
And then I would have been 2008 is when I met the band, and so I was fronting them like 2009, 2010. Yeah,
The band. I just remember it was Andy that said to me, because obviously I knew your brother, but I didn't know about you. And he's like, yeah, Jason's like the coolest cunt ever. I'm like, what do you mean? He's like, he vlogs shit on YouTube or something.
Yeah.
He's in like a band. He was making it out like you were like
head top shit. or something. Yeah.
He was making it out like you were fucking like Russell Brand or some shit.
Yeah, well,
But then,
fuck.
the more I think about it, yeah, you are actually like Russell Brand.
Right, yeah, just heroin junkie hasn't made it out yet.
No,
Yeah.
calm down. Russell Brand's not a heroin junkie. He's a famous comedian now.
Yeah.
But
Was.
he's actually, yeah, that's true.
Yeah.
What was the last thing he did? He sort of got shit canned after he said all that anti-establishment shit. Remember?
Yeah. I don't know. He's made his millions, and
Yeah, but is he doing anything else?
I think so. I don't know.
Next settle.
Following his life, I get called Russell Brand and the lead singer of INXS.
Michael Hutchins.
Yeah, when I have my hair down. Yeah,
Yeah, but
it's only because of the hair. That's it.
yeah, but I don't see you as Russell. I don't see you as Michael Hutchins. You know what I see you as? I see you as a Kramer. Because you just
And do I have some stories as well?
no, because you're always aloof. That's the best. I described you as that once to your brother, and I described you as aloof.
Yeah, that's
As
right.
in, like, you're not... Okay, like with Kramer, yeah? The thing with Kramer was, I've said it before, Kramer used to play... Michael Richards used to play the character as being 2 steps behind everyone, right? So he was sort of like disattached. Then he realised the trick was to play Kramer 2 steps ahead of everyone. So his ideas were so progressive and so just, like, out there that it was just too much for other people to understand. But in his mind, he was a genius.
Oh, dude.
Like, do you know what I mean?
Yeah, I know exactly what you mean.
And I reckon that's how you come across a lot of the times as well.
Right.
Okay, so hang on. Rundown.
Yeah.
Before the band.
Yeah.
I remember you for 2 things. A, the band.
Yeah.
2, when we destroyed you one night when I went out for Lexi's birthday in the city. You were a kid. You were a fucking kid. This was the year that Michael Jackson died. So 2009.
Okay.
Yeah?
Yeah.
We went out for his birthday and it was probably the last hurrah with everyone, like all those boys from that group, right? Like your brothers, all of your brothers' mates. You were the young one out of like the whole group. How old were you in 2009?
2009, I would have been, I'm going to say 21.
Yeah, I was probably like 25. I'm
Yeah.
pretty sure. Yeah, I was about to turn 25. I was 24. Yeah, so you were like the youngest one out of the group, and you're like the most naive and like quiet one, which is really weird because you're like totally the opposite now.
Right.
All right. See how much we change, we grow. Like
yeah.
10 years, we grew up.
Well, yeah. I mean, I guess the thing is though, whenever I'm hanging out with my my brother's friends, both brothers, it's like you kind of. You know, you don't want to like be the fucking guy, you know.
I know,
Like,
but what I remember about that night specifically was we went to Spice Market in the city and we made a dancing area.
Oh,
Like,
yeah.
we pulled all the tables away from that area and we made a dance floor, and they left it like that for literally 10 years.
Yeah.
But what I remember was we'd picked up some stragglers in the club and we went to KFC. And I remember, I remember this like it was yesterday because it was fucking hilarious. I remember there was a Korean bird that like somehow got tacked onto the group, and she just kept following us like from the club to KFC, and then she was talking about how she lived with like 3 other women or something. Like she had like people at her house, like that she was living with out in Port Melbourne or like St Kilda or something, like down by the beach, and we were all losing it because we were like 23, 24, you know. And then she had a liking to you, and we told you that you had to hook up with her so we could get back to the house. And you're like, I don't want to do it. Like, listen, man, you got to take one for the team.
No, I remember that. Yeah, I remember that. Yeah, shit. You're like, we got to get back to this house.
We got to get back to this
It's a good
house.
house.
There's drugs, there's women. Okay, but you got to do this for us. And you're like, no, I don't want to do it.
Yeah, shit.
That is probably one of my earliest memories of you because I hadn't met you until then.
Yeah, right. Fuck. Jesus.
We were forcing Lexi's kid brother to take one for the team.
Come on, man.
But I just remember you being like, no, I don't want to do it. I'm like, nah, man, there's no option. Like, you gotta do it. She's got a house full of friends. Maya, we've changed.
Yeah, well, yeah. Yeah.
That was the first thing I remember you for. Mm-hmm. That, the band thing, that you were fronting a band, and I remember you were vlogging stuff. You were sort of like one of the first to, I mean, forget what people do now with like Insta Live and all that sort of shit. You were doing it like handheld cameras and shit.
2009, yeah. So I went, in 2008, I got accepted to go study in France, and
that was my next thing.
Yeah.
I remember you followed a bird to Paris somewhere.
Yeah.
What the hell was that?
Okay, so,
all I remember was, someone was selling it to me, like, oh, he went on overseas and he fucking vlogged it all and blah, blah, blah. And it was like new, that was pioneering days.
Yeah, I know. And I fucking should have kept up with it. And I just didn't.
You were doing it like over 10 years ago. Okay, so what was the actual story?
Okay, so there's this girl called Salia.
I know I'm taking you back.
Okay, so basically
Are we okay to talk about this?
No, yeah.
Do you want to lie down on the couch?
Oh, no, yeah, maybe I should.
Doc, you gotta help me.
You gotta help me now. So let me take you back. I'm 16 and I'm on a French school trip, as you do.
Yeah. Okay. Wait. So you were over there studying at this point?
No, I was like a 1 month, like French exchange thing.
You were the exchange student?
Yeah, exactly. Kind of like, you know what they do in high school, that they, they have the French experience or Italian experience.
I know what the French experience is.
And then,
nevertheless,
and we spent 2 weeks in Paris and do our stories about that, but talking about this girl, there was this girl that I I was in the year above me, essentially, and this girl was older. She's I think she's from Algeria.
Okay.
And she's ghetto, but she's cool, And, long story short, I had this massive crush on her, but she had a boyfriend. And so cut to 4 years later, I've got this exchange trip to France, to Lyon. And I spent some time in Paris just before getting there. I hit her up. I was like, hey, I'm coming,
Yeah.
And,
so you were in contact with her the entire time, or did you just sort of drift away?
It was emails back then as well, right?
The famous emails.
Before Facebook. And, basically I said, hey, let's meet at the Sacré-Cœur, and I made this whole big fucking story about it, about how I met this girl and I'm coming for this girl and we're meeting at the church and, it's going to be sick.
What happened?
Well, I got I was like a camcorder kind of guy, and I'm just like, like, I don't know, scary movie. It's just, Blair Witch, you know?
Yeah.
Just, where is she? I'm climbing the stairs. I'm at the Sacré-Cœur. Where is she? And then she's there and I'm running to her and it's, yeah, and it was good. It was like, you can look it up.
Is that still online?
It's still online, yeah.
off.
You can look it up. It's Finding Sal as part of the Jason Goes to France series.
Hang on.
Yeah, okay. Oh, God.
What?
Yeah.
No.
Oh, yeah, I forgot there's a computer right there.
Of course there is. Hang on. Finding Sal.
Sal. And then
Jason
Goes to France.
Really?
Yeah, should pop up there. There it is.
Holy shit! It's a whole YouTube thing.
It's a whole thing, and like the juice is in the last like minute or two.
11 years. How long were you running these how long were you actually doing these for?
So I got about 2 months worth of footage that I edited and put it up over the course of 6 months of the course, like the time I was there. I have 6 months worth of footage somewhere on a hard drive somewhere, but it's just like it just took forever to edit.
Yeah.
And so I would spend days just editing for a 10-minute or a 5 to 10 minute video clip, and I get 100 views. Yeah. And no one would say anything, and so I just said, forget it.
It hasn't changed. It's still the same way, man. I'm telling you.
Yeah.
For someone that never dropped the ball on the media thing, it's still the same exact thing.
Yeah. But the irony is that I did get something out of it, out of that, and it was this person from Nickelodeon Australia kind of contacted me, and then she got me to audition for something, and didn't hear back from her. Tried to hit up Nickelodeon. They're like, oh, that person left. So, I'm not sure. Yeah, I'm not sure how
Maybe
fucking
just
real it was.
you.
Yeah, right.
It just got you back to an apartment somewhere in St. Kilda.
Yeah, exactly, right. So anyway, but a lot has happened since.
When was
then.
the last time you watched this thing?
I don't know.
Have you actually I'm not going to play it now, relax.
Yeah.
But, have you actually gone back to see any of this shit?
I mean, look, I guess I have. I bring it up sometimes with my students, and
you use this as a
it's just like, a little bit of teaching, I was in France, or I was skiing, or whatever. I was, check out my video, and, look how stupid I am as a teacher,
Okay.
And it just gets the students a little bit,
So what are you
more
teaching?
relaxed. I teach ESL, so English is a second language, so...
Where?
I'm not sure if I can tell you. No,
no, you're right. You're probably no, you're right. You're right. I usually mute that sort of shit.
Yeah.
Okay. So, what happened to the girl, by the way?
She became a judge. Yeah. We met up. She was studying to be a judge, and I think we met up again in 2012, and. Yeah, basically, I kind of lost contact with her, but, she was studying to be a judge.
Okay. Was that the first big trip that you'd done on your own?
Well, technically it wasn't on my own. My mum was the, teacher.
Really?
Yeah. So
Okay.
I was like, so my school didn't offer the French course, like the holiday, but my mum's school did, and it was like, great.
Yeah.
Let's go. So, but the first big trip was at uni. So I went to France that trip. So
How old were you when you fucked off?
first time 20 years old. Yeah.
20.
Yeah.
How long were you gone?
I was gone 6 months, and then I came back for 6 months, and they offered a trip to Malaysia, and I was like, yeah, go do it.
I remember Malaysia.
Yeah.
I'd seen you in that little window. You'd sort of disappeared. I remember talking to your brother about it. It's like, he's in Malaysia. Doing what? I don't know.
Yeah. Who knows? Yeah. I was studying. I was doing my course. So
Studying to what? Be a teacher?
No.
you don't need to.
No, a Bachelor of Arts and a Bachelor of Business Marketing. So
I remember. Yeah, I remember when I first met you. Our conversations are mostly around marketing and music and shit. That's why.
Yeah. Well, I mean, I was all about the marketing, and like I tell ya, like I had business cards with my face on it, and it said marketer, presenter, and I was still at uni, so I hadn't done anything, but I'm like, here's my card, and I
can sell your product.
yeah, like, trust me. And because I was giving it to everyone at uni, everyone was prank calling me. Holy shit.
Really?
Yeah, man, because here's the fucking business card with my face on it, right? Literally this fucking idiot, right? And giving out his business card. But the flip side to that is that, this is while I was in Malaysia, the flip side to that is that even though, I was getting all these prank calls, I got one call that's like, hey, I'm your stalker. I'm like, what? So yeah, I've been stalking you since you've got, went to uni. I'm like, holy shit. So I ended up hooking up with this girl from Botswana.
Oh, you have to go there. Like, yeah, of course you have to hook up with your stalker.
Yeah.
You just, a woman tells you that she's stalking you. You're like, you're mad. When can we meet up? Men are idiots. If a woman got a call from a guy, it's like, I'm watching you. And like, that's it. Cops, feds, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Every guy she's ever spoken to for 30 years is getting doors kicked in.
Oh yeah, no. This was
Men are fucking idiots.
this was like,
Seriously.
yeah, she's pretty hot. Yeah, why not? Yeah.
Dude, that's a
And the moment I remember most of all of that whole interaction was that she'd never been with a white guy before.
She finds you 6 foot something, fucking white naive. You know what I mean?
Right, but like, as we're like banging, right, she's like looking down and just laughing because it's like the contrast is just too much, you know?
You serious?
Yeah, man.
That hurts.
Well, no, it's in not the size of my cock, but like just the whiteness.
Yeah,
like, yeah.
It still hurts though.
What do you mean?
What do you mean? You just,
It's funny. You need sometimes you need a bit of humor in the bedroom, no?
women should not be laughing at you when you're having sex, man. Like, there's no positive way to fucking spin that shit, dude.
Oh, well. It was good. It was a good time.
Dude, such a man. No, you know what I mean? Okay, so hang on.
Yeah.
I remember at one point you were overseas, like, fucking relentlessly. You were in Korea at one point.
Yep, I was in Korea, yep.
Where else have you gone? Because I know, actually, no, wait. More like, give us a timeline of everywhere you've actually gone.
Okay, so I can say I've lived in 6 countries. So
Lived, as in
tried to find work or studied there.
Yeah. Had an income or a fixed address of some kind.
Yeah, exactly. So I've lived in so it was first France, then Malaysia, then I went to Korea for a year, came back, and then I was in Melbourne and then Perth, and then I went to Europe. I lived in England for a few months, and I was in London, and then I went to Italy, like some shitty country.
I didn't know that.
Yeah, well, but I didn't really post too much about it because
I remember you going to England.
Yeah,
that just came and went. I remember like speaking to you once, and you're like, "Yeah, I'm in the UK." I'm like, "Oh, when'd you go to Italy?"
So it was that trip. So I was in Europe for 14 months, and I was trying to find work in France, and then I'd come in September, which is like the worst time to try and get teaching work, and so but Italy and Spain were hiring, and so I went to Italy, some really shitty town in the middle of nowhere, and it's called Termoli. Don't go.
Don't go.
Unless you're going for summer. I guess it's the beach town.
Where is it?
East. Exactly, East Italy.
What?
Yeah,
I had no idea.
Yeah, so if you drew a line like east of Naples, like on the other coast, or east of Rome, like in between Naples and Rome, but on the other coast, that's where my shitty 30,000 people town was. But what I decided was that every second weekend after like the Christmas break, I was like, fuck this, I'm not getting much money, but I'm not staying here.
Yeah.
So every second weekend I went to, like, I caught the train to some like really cool town or city in Italy. And the thing is about Italy, or about Europe in general, is that there are so many towns that people don't even know about, and they're fucking amazing.
Yeah.
Like, there's this town in the heel of the boot of Italy called Lecce, and holy shit!
Doesn't Lecce mean milk?
Latte means milk. So,
oh wait, I'm thinking Mexican.
Yeah,
Spanish. Sorry, Mexican.
Yeah. So,
dude, hang on, wait a second. No, wait a second. Leche means milk in Spanish.
I don't know. I don't speak Spanish.
I'm almost positive. Sorry, I have to find this because this is going to piss me off.
Okay.
I'm getting stuck on that, but anyway.
While you're finding it, there's so many fucking towns in Europe and in Italy, and it's amazing. This is this Baroque town, and it's like no one knows about it, only other Italian tourists, and it's just like, holy shit.
Yeah, I was right. I was right.
Yeah.
See, I learned some Spanish.
So yeah, and anyway, so I like you get you turn a lemon into lemonade type of deal.
Yeah,
and
fair enough.
so and you just getting up to outrageous sort of shit. So yeah.
So how long did you stick that out in Italy?
9 months. That was the school year, so they break over summer.
So despite, I mean, you went over there and you're just teaching English as a second language basically, and no Italian needed.
No, I mean, I fucking couldn't communicate, and so
how'd you get it? How'd you even manage to teach?
Well, so when you teach English, you don't need to know the native language.
Yeah, yeah.
So that's fine, and then the school kind of supports you and stuff, but it's more like trying to do stuff with the locals. So the people didn't really like me because well, because here's the thing, right? So
you're like the most personable person in the world.
But this is what I'm talking about. It's like this is what I fucking hated this town, right? I had this vendetta against a town.
You found this one town in the middle of Italy that,
dude. You think Italians are fucking nice, man? But this town, I swear, like they're just a negative like vortex right there. But
the one town.
So they didn't like me. One, because I couldn't speak Italian. I mean, like I learned 6 months of Duolingo, and I started to try and communicate. But it was because I didn't dress nice, right?
Oh, dude, Europeans are fucked for that, man.
No, Italians are fucked for that, right?
No, even in Athens, I remember when I first got there and I was wearing my like Melbourne trackies and shit, going to go buy bread for my aunt. She's like, "Where are you going?" I'm like, "What do you mean?" She's like, "What are you wearing?" I'm like, "Runners, trackies, and shitty t-shirt." Like, you can't do that, man. Not here. I'm like, "Yeah, fuck him. I don't give a shit."
Well, this is what I'm saying, man. And then it's like, we don't like the fucking way you dress, And I invited a bunch of people to have a party at my place, in an Australian style party, which is just like booze,
Booze and food, yeah.
Not even food, just
chips, like a few starters.
Yeah, exactly, right? So, and then they're like, your place is shit and you didn't offer food, and it's like, because Italian fucking parties obviously have like antipasto and like all this fucking random like awesome food, and it's like, oh, we don't like you. And I said,
hang on, people actually said that.
One girl, the girl I was sleeping with, so I don't know what her thing was, but yeah.
Are you sure she wasn't just
it's like, fuck you, But here's the thing, right? So I go to her, I was like, fuck you, dude, you're older than me, you live in Europe and you've been to 2 other countries.
They don't value it.
The fucking flight is 20, 30 euros.
But they don't value it, man. I got my cousin here from Greece right now, and we talk about it a lot. He's like, he wants to see the world. You know what I mean? Like, what Greeks come here? Like, 27-year-olds come here.
Yeah, they need the money, huh?
Yeah. This guy literally works like his balls off for 7 months a year, and then he just travels like wherever he can. Even little like weekend trips, whatever. Dude, Greeks will not leave their fucking houses because there's nothing else out there. There's no point. They don't see the value of going away. Whereas Australians, man, we need to see. We're in the middle of nowhere.
Exactly, man.
Okay, so I can't believe Italians actually told you that your place was shit.
It's too dirty because I'm not sure if anyone knows. I mean, I'm sure it's
I'm just saying.
It's the same shit in Greece as well. They got the fucking like the broom. Like they don't have a fucking vacuum cleaner. Like get a vacuum cleaner. Why do you want a broom like a sweep?
Carpet sweeper? Yeah.
You want to fucking sweep every day so you can wear your shoes inside. Like what the hell? What the fuck?
I've said that about Greek women, like my all my relatives, the standards. You'd cop it as well. It's like, you need to meet a Greek girl, blah blah blah. And I always say the same thing, and I've repeated this 1,000 times. I've been to say a dozen countries of the world. I've made friends in every single country that I've gone to. Greece, only country in the world where I've never made a female friend, as in randomly.
Right.
Just met at a bar and started chatting and just like, hey, whatever.
Yeah.
Never.
Well, they give you the eye, like moody, So,
fuck, you cop the moody and it's just like, they don't care. They not unless you've literally got your salary out and your asset base and you're telling them, these are my friends. They don't give a fuck.
Fuck that, man.
Seriously. It burns, man.
Yeah.
And I honestly don't know how they get laid over there. without going to the Rippers. Like, seriously, they're fucked. Anyway.
Well, they talk about philosophy, you know? They philosophize their way in, you
That's
know?
how they get by. Greek women don't listen to the men over there, man. They just argue. It's a joke. Nevertheless, all right, so you were in Italy for like 9 months.
Yeah.
When was this? This was...
I'd say 2015, 16, yeah.
Okay, so we're getting closer to home. Then what happened?
Then came back from there. I spent 2 months in Cyprus. Well, 2 months? 1 month? I was in Cyprus for a little bit.
Yeah.
And then came back, and my dad passed away,
Yeah.
and then after that, I just wanted to get out, and so I did like this Southeast Asia 5-month tour. So I don't say that I was living in a particular country. It's just,
you did 5 months.
5 months.
How many
yeah.
countries did you do?
6. I did Malaysia for like a month, Singapore, Indonesia for 2 months, and Thailand. I was in Bangkok for a month, right? Because, get this, I was like, it's a little too much right now, traveling all the time. I just want to, like, relax. And, you know, you don't relax in Bangkok. That's for sure.
I've been to Bangkok, 2-3 times, like, on all my... I've done 2 trips to Thailand, I've been back to Bangkok, 3 times out of all.
Yeah.
I love Bangkok.
It's good. It's good. Don't get me wrong. You can't... There's no real art scene there, but, like...
Art scene?
Exactly.
Ping pong shows, man. You want to see art?
Yeah, man. You know, a bit of culture. And then, went to Vietnam and then Philippines. Yeah, and then came back.
Dude, culture's fucking rife in Bangkok, man.
Yeah, it's just, you know.
See, this is where you're an animal, because I've done I've done pretty much the same trip you just did. Like, my first trip away from Australia on my own, like, without parents or whatever, as an adult, I was 23, turning 24, and I did Southeast Asia. So I did, like, Indo, Malaysia, Thailand, Vietnam, Cambodia. More or less the same trip. But I did 6 weeks. You did fucking 5.5 months.
Yeah.
That's the difference. When you go away for stints, it's like a tour of duty.
Yeah, pretty much. Yeah. I think it's, you know, just can't be fucked, whatever, save some money, go. And then if I don't have a lot of money saved, I'll, like, find a job or something overseas. So,
what are you normally doing for work when you're overseas?
So if I'm in a country that doesn't speak English, or English isn't the native language, then I'll be teaching English.
Yeah. Is it hard to find jobs like that?
No, it's very easy. In Asia, in Europe, it's quite easy. You get, like, basically, if you want to get, like, a bit more money, you do a 1-month course. It's called a CELTA. Everywhere recognizes it. You can do it just like having a high school. You don't even need to finish university. So
really,
yeah, you can just do it, and then you can get this certificate, and countries will, you know, recognize that, and then you know. But if you want to go to like Korea or Japan or even Shanghai and stuff, you will need a degree. But there's so many countries out there that kind of just, if you've put in a little bit of effort in English teaching, they need teachers like badly. And
okay, let me ask you a question.
Yeah.
What was the most sort of not bottom rate, but like the third world, out of the third world Asian countries? Which country did you teach in that would you say was the most sort of rural sort of setup?
Well, see, I avoid those because because they don't pay you, right? So it's either volunteering in Cambodia or something, or it's like nothing wages in Thailand, you know. So
if you were volunteering in Cambodia, what would you get as far as, you know, remuneration?
Maybe accommodation, like
not even a meal.
I don't think so. I reckon they'll just put you out. Maybe at school you get meals, you know, but you know, it's pretty damn poor over there.
I've done Cambodia. I loved it, man, but it was rural as shit when I did it. That's why I'm asking, like, because I mean, you do all these massive trips, and you teach while you're here. Now, everyone always talks about doing travelling and blah, 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 but they never get it off the ground. When I did it, everyone was like, oh, you're so lucky. Like, when I did 3.5 months in Europe. It's like, you're so lucky, you're so lucky. Look, I'm not fucking lucky. I quit my job, saved everything I had, and got the fuck over there and came back broke. You know what I mean?
Yeah, totally.
So, the hardest part is gaining an income while you're there, you know, unless you're whoring yourself out or being a drug mule. And I was going to say, did you ever do the backpacker thing, working in, like, bars and shit like that, or not? You didn't need to?
No, I didn't do it because people... I'm not sure if I'm good at that, because, like, I'm like friendly and outrageous and whatever, but, like, to be on an island in Greece earning 30 euros and dancing all night, like, It's just like, well, you know what they do? They kind of hustle you in. You get just enough money to live, and I look at that and I'm like, man, I may as well just save a bunch of money here and then just go and just enjoy myself. Like, there's no point in just getting by. And so that's how I've always looked at it, and I've gone like, well, you know, Korea, I was getting, this is 2011, 2012, I was getting about $1,000 a month. Sorry, not 1,000, 2,000 a month.
So $500 a week, which equals to about $750. An average week.
Yeah.
Which is pretty standard.
But also accommodation was paid, and flights were paid. So, you know, like,
if you're not paying rent and you're earning that, it's decent.
It's decent. You could go out, have a good time, and still save $1,000, you know, a month.
Yeah.
So it's like it's a no-brainer. You know, you just go.
Dude, I couldn't save that much money now working a full-time job. Like, do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, if you're paying rent and you're doing all that shit, it's harder to come by. But if you got your accommodation sorted out,
well, that's the thing with Australia. Is it's like, you know, fucking rent is just eats you, you know. So, but if you can get a job and, you know, work away and all that sort of stuff, and live poorly, I guess, you can save a lot very quickly, is what I'm getting at. You can save a lot very quickly.
Live like a grifter. It's just, this is my apartment, but I sleep in my car, just so I don't have to turn the water and the lights on.
Come on, ladies. Yeah, so, I mean, look, you know, I mean, don't get me wrong, like, every time I come back, I'm staying at my mum's place, you know, so, you know, and that's the thing, like, if I stay here, my mum's in India at the moment, but, you know, by the time she gets back, if I'm still here, I'll be fucking, you know, in Brunswick or some shit. You know,
in Brunswick.
I don't know. I'm on the dating apps. I'm on the Hinge. You know, I'm not sure if you.
Hinge for Minge.
Hinge for Minge. Yeah. So, and like, you know, I think I've cracked the code as well. Well, you gotta purpose.
I don't know. I've never done dating apps, so I got no idea.
Don't worry about it. But you
don't worry about it. It's comforting.
But the code. What I mean is,
what's the code?
Is that you kind of purposely eliminate the bullshit. So, you know, like, for example,
I am Jason, I am naked.
Come and get me. You know? No, because like, so on Hinge, I'm not sure if your listeners know this, but basically you're answering questions and as well as photos, and it's like, you know, I'm like, you should contact me if you like YouTube, you're a musician, you're an artist, you know, so you're really eliminating the other sort of shit that you're not really interested in, and then the ones that are kind of keen are going to be artists and musicians and all that sort of stuff, and I'm like, I naturally kind of, that's the type of person that
you gravitate towards.
Yeah, exactly. And so, you know, it's just been pretty easy to match and have like good quality kind of conversations with.
So, would you say you'd be getting on Hinge for a relationship as opposed to getting on Tinder for a root?
Well, that's what they say, but I think that...
like I said, I'm totally naive to this shit because I've never used them.
The thing is with Tinder is that I don't even think that, you know, it's like a meat market.
Yeah.
Almost.
Is that like Bumble as well?
Well, I don't know about Bumble. I tried to use Bumble, didn't get any responses. Like, fuck it. But see,
your marketing sucked. That's a problem.
Well, this is it, right? So it's like with Tinder, it's like, unless you're the hottest person, you're not getting matches. And the matches you do get are not quality, you know?
Because you're quality?
No, but that's what I'm saying. That's what I'm saying, is that if you're average, right?
If you're a normal person.
Yeah, you're a normal person, you're gonna get below average.
Yeah.
Because there's just a surplus of dudes that want to fuck, right? And only, you know, a quarter of girls want to fuck, you know?
Yeah.
So, and this is how it is. A lot of averages.
Like I said, I'm totally naive to this sort of shit. Okay, so hang on, wait a second. You've been traveling, so when did you first take off and start your stints, like across? You were saying 2009.
2009. Yeah.
And you've still consistently been overseas. Let's say out of the last 10 years, how many years would you have spent overseas?
5, maybe?
Half and half?
Yeah, half, yeah.
So when you're back here, what are you doing? Just basically hoarding money to go back overseas?
Yeah, but like, you know, trying to make it work. You know, trying to make it work. Trying the dots. Look, trying to make it work in the sense of like, I want to get this career off the ground. I want to get out of teaching. I want to do something, you know.
What do you actually want to do?
For a while there, I wanted to be a marketer, but now I am leaning towards events/entertainment.
Well, like a Prestige Worldwide.
Yeah.
Worldwide.
No, like, so, which is what I want to get to talking about Canada, but working in film and stuff. So, that's, kind of where I want to kind of go.
When you say working in film, do you mean like a production role, as in like on a crew sort of thing?
Yeah, on a crew, yeah.
You'd want to be behind the camera as opposed to in front of it?
Well, I'd like to be in front of the camera, but the reality is that's not going to work.
Why?
My brother's an actor.
So what?
Well, you just see how
Sean Penn, Chris Penn.
Yeah. No. You see how hard it is for him to break out, right? And it's just like I'm not that talented, and two,
What do you mean?
I'm not as talented as my brother. I haven't been spending, my entire life acting, training.
Do you think Bad Baby's talented?
Bad Baby?
Yeah, Catch Me Outside.
Yeah, no.
Okay.
Yeah, right.
She's like literally making records with some of the biggest producers in I swear to God, man. Scott Storch, the guy that made Fat Joe's Lean Back, the guy that made Dre's Still DRE, he's currently producing, he just produced like one of her albums or something.
Wow. And it's selling?
Who
knows?
She's
Doesn't
Bad
matter.
Baby now.
Yeah.
Why do I know this? You know what I mean?
Yeah, well, that's the thing. I'm not sure if that is probably where I want to go with it.
Okay. Why don't you do something in a different avenue? As in, I'm not telling you what to do. I'm just saying, have you thought about doing something in a different avenue?
What do you mean?
Okay, well, your brother like auditions and gets into roles like on mainstream TV and shit like that. Why don't you go the same way you started?
Yeah, YouTube and stuff.
Vids,
Yeah.
Insta, TikTok.
Well, that's kind of that's why I'm here almost, is that I really enjoy this. I enjoy talking on radio and stuff. I know it was on SYN, Student Youth Network, and that was super fun. And I realized that what I was doing at university was, in my spare time, is something that I want to do in my, full time, or just like as a hobby. And so, I'm trying to tap back into that, and that's what that Southeast Asia trip was kind of like. It's like, because like a lot of shit happened in my family and all that sort of stuff, and I was like, I wanted to try.
You're literally naked in an island somewhere, just getting blazed, just thinking about the future.
Like, what am I going to do? But yeah, I think that yeah, having worked in film in Canada, I thought, you know what, it's hard work, but it's fun.
What were you doing there?
I was a production assistant,
Okay.
which means that you are setting up, packing down, and making everyone's quiet while they're rolling. That's pretty much it.
Yeah, I know.
Yeah, well, they actually don't have PAs here in Australia, so it's not.
It's a shared role. Like, look, you find, especially in Australia, they seem to blur the lines a lot on, depending how big the shoot is, because we're so understaffed and underfunded. You know what I mean? Like, I'd be a line manager at the same time while I'm being a fucking set director and I'm being a runner just for like random shit. Like, what am I doing?
Yeah.
I produced this. Why am I getting coffee for like this fuckwit?
Yeah, fuck that guy. Yeah.
What's wrong? Yeah, pretty much. All right. So, what did you leave Canada? How long were you in Canada for?
14, 15 months. I did a stint for about 3 months in Vancouver. I went to Squamish, which is like the rock climbing capital of Canada, and I was skiing in Whistler for like 3 months. Then I went back to Vancouver for like a month, and then I did a road trip across the US for 2 months. Went to Montreal for 3 months, and then back to LA, and then back to Vancouver for a month to get some cash, and then came back here, and now we're here.
How do you go about juggling? Like, all right, man. Like, anyone that talks to you, that like meets you, especially for the first time, and they start talking about like the traveling thing and blah blah blah. I'm sure you get the same things all the time. Oh, you're so lucky to be doing this and blah 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 blah, and that's so cool and yada yada. Right? Generally.
Early on, yeah.
Then you start breaking down like the sacrifices you've made, and then they're like, oh, what do you mean?
Yeah.
How do you go about juggling your finances on the go, like with all this shit you're talking about? Because it's not like you're not like a billionaire where it's just like self-funded.
No. So couch surfing helps a lot. So Couchsurfing is a website for, if you don't know. So Couchsurfing, so that saves on accommodation. There's all these little tips and tricks and stuff, but on the whole, you're just going to make sure you're working everywhere you go. Yeah, that's kind of that's kind of it, I guess.
You have to be generating an income every time, otherwise you're just sort of stuck.
Well, yeah, I mean, or you're, saving up and going to Southeast Asia and just bumming, so.
How much do you reckon you can survive on, like the bare minimum, while you're away?
Depends on the area, but if I'm in Southeast Asia, like $500 a month,
$500 a month?
Yeah.
So breaking it down to like $125 a week?
Yeah, I mean, I had saved, basically, I was gone for 5 months, I spent $7,000, that was when I did my Southeast Asia trip, and I had hotels, a few nights, about like once a week, I'd have a hotel, and, just...
Really?
Yeah, and I'd travel, and that includes the airfares between countries and stuff, and, and then people, like, help you out as well, so, if you're trying to get somewhere, then,
What do you do to
so...
Are you going to Ho Chi Minh? Oh.
So for
Pretty tall boy.
For example, someone invited me to go to the Philippines, and I'm like, look, I'm here now. It's not really in the schedule.
Yeah.
And they're like, hey, don't worry about it. I'll pay for it. And I'm like, okay.
But why?
Well, but like it's
See, this is what I'm talking about, man. There's more fucking sides to this shit. Don't hold out on me now, man. You busted my balls to get here. Don't hold out on me now.
Look. So,
One question.
Yeah.
One question regarding the Philippines.
Yeah, go.
Who bought you the ticket to go?
It was a girl.
All right, done. Thanks. That's it. All right, well, it was good seeing you, man. Have a good one. See you later. You son of a bitch.
No, look. We didn't smash, right? There was no smashing.
Yeah, okay.
Yeah,
sure.
But,
Yeah, all right,
it was
whatever.
probably part of the appeal. Look,
You're a prick.
no, but not even that. Like, let's look at Canada, right? We're all across.
Do I want to look at Canada?
All across the US, and it's like the travel is cheap, right?
Okay.
Petrol is cheap, right? You get your car.
You're a prick. I'm sorry.
The Philippines. That was the Philippines.
Man, all right? You're a tall, good-looking kid, and now you got me thinking, yeah, I can travel. But this guy,
do less, man.
This guy, you just make it work. People help you out. What do you mean? No one helps me out, man. I paid for the flight. I still didn't get on the plane. You know what I mean?
No. Okay. All right. Let me back up here. All right.
Okay.
You still have your plan, right? I was going to be in Vietnam for, I only spent 10 days in Vietnam. I wanted to spend longer. Yeah. And she was like, hey, I'm going to the Philippines. I really want you to come. I'm like, look, I'm in Vietnam. This is the plan. And she's like, look, what if I pay for it? And I'm like, okay. Look, if you're going to pay for it, it'll get me to the Philippines, whatever. But the reality is, a flight from Vietnam to the Philippines is like maybe $60, $70, So
Okay.
the flights are not that expensive.
Dude, I flew to Holland to meet a bird who I hadn't touched and still haven't touched, and I flew to Rome, and same reasons.
Yeah.
And I didn't get no flight paid for me, man. It was like, yeah, see you there. You know what I mean?
The question is, like, who's desperate enough, right, to pay, right? So that's the thing. So, I mean, I didn't, she knows, but, I didn't like the girl romantically, right? So, but she wanted me there because it was a fuck thing. I shouldn't have done it.
You got a trip out of the Philippines out of it.
Yeah, there you go. It wasn't like that, etc.
What a pussy.
Hopefully she doesn't listen to this. Yeah.
I'm going to go through your Insta page just looking for anyone that remotely fits the bill of anyone that's gone to the Philippines.
Okay, so it wouldn't be hard to find, but like you look at Canada. So I got a car for work. It was a piece of shit car. It broke down in California. And
what were you doing in California?
Well, I was road tripping. So I was road tripping. I went all the way down the coast to San Francisco, and then went to Tahoe, and then I was going down, and I was going to cut through Death Valley, and my car broke down just before Death Valley.
Okay.
Which was fortunate. So I had to get rid of the car, and the mechanic, dude.
What?
Just, they know they're ripping you off.
Of course they do.
Yeah, I know they're ripping me off. They know that they're ripping me off, but I'm like, okay, well, I have to pay them, so...
Yeah, you do Johnson rod in here. What are you talking about?
So like I had to give it away. I couldn't repair it.
Yeah.
It was the damage was too big. The timing belt had gone. You know, they billed me for the tow, fair enough. Billed me for the check, and then they billed me for towing the car to the wreckers. I'm like, that's bullshit.
You're taking it.
Yeah, they take that. They fucking charge me like $100 or something, $150. I was like, fucking hell. Whatever. So
I'm just picturing you in your shorts with socks pulled up in your suitcase, just in the middle of Death Valley.
pretty much, like it wasn't Death Valley, but like
taking your car.
Yeah.
What do you mean? It's just.
Yeah, no, totally. And I mean, and that's an experience, right? So, but like fuel in the US is so cheap.
Yeah, it's nothing, man.
Yeah.
By the gallon. They don't understand.
It's like $3-4 a gallon.
Yeah, how many gallons to a litre? I got no idea.
4 point something?
Yeah, some shit like that.
Yeah.
I don't know. It's cheaper than it is here. All right. So then, what do you reckon? I mean, all this travelling and shit, you're basically just going round and round in circles, right? I mean, for a good cause, but you're going round and round in circles.
What do you mean?
Well, like I said, you're here, you build yourself up, then you fuck off overseas.
Right.
Sit it out as long as you can, doing different shit, then you come back. Mm-hmm. You follow me, right?
Yeah.
Okay,
right.
So then, what's the end goal? I mean, you're talking about media and stuff.
Yeah, so I think I'm ready to calm down on the travelling.
Really?
I'd say so. I mean, look, I am probably going to go back to Canada, but it'd be specifically to work in film, right?
Okay.
Just because there's work there. And ideally, I'd want to work here in film and try and get work here. And, you know, see if that works, and we'll see what happens. And, you know, but if I don't, then I'm going to go traveling again. And
how long are you going to give it?
For film work, or
yeah.
I don't know. I got the visas until August. So
in Canada.
Yeah. Okay. So, and I know, like, literally, there is so much work in Vancouver. Yeah.
Pay all right?
It's good for Canada.
Is it enough to survive? Like, I mean,
yeah.
Could you get like an apartment or something, or a hotel, a room somewhere?
Yeah. So it's $280 a day, but the working hours are 15-hour days. So
standard film sets, standard shit.
But like, it's nuts. So you don't have time to scratch your ass, essentially.
Yeah.
Yeah. Man, it's you know, it is what it is, and it's cool and it's fun. You get to see like crazy things, stunts, and all that sort of stuff. But you know, it's a lot of work, and that's as a PA, and then it gets a lot higher.
Have you thought about long term effects of like not building up a base here at all?
What do you mean?
Well, because you're basically coming here, like I said, you're burning it, and then you're disappearing overseas again. So you're coming back every time, pretty much with nothing.
Yeah. My saving strategy is that
find people to pay for your tickets.
No. So I save 10% of whatever I make. Right. Yeah. So that 10% goes into shares or goes into some investment, and the idea is that over 10 years, eventually there'll be enough for a deposit on a house. But sometimes, it doesn't really go that way. So
I can tell you right now, man, I had the idea of saving 10% every week. I don't save 10% every week. I save shit every week.
Yeah, right.
It all depends. What choices?
Yeah, I mean, look, I still have money. I can't go back on Centrelink because I have too much money. They'll put it that way. So,
no one can go back on Centrelink if you've got more assets than whatever.
Exactly. Yeah.
Like I'm cash poor, but according to the government, I'm a billionaire. You know what I mean? 'Cause I own a car and a house. Like, does that make sense?
No, it totally makes sense.
It's bullshit. It's absolutely fucking bullshit the way it works in this joint.
Yeah, just sell all your shit, and then we might give you some money, you know?
Yeah, literally. You have to sell all your shit, and then, like, forget all the hard work you've done. We need to see you back to, like, ground zero, and then maybe we'll help you.
Yeah, it's fucked.
Even if it's temporary. Like, even if you're unemployed for, like, a month, just because you're unemployed. They want to see you working at Macca's. Like, you better apply for a job at Macca's, otherwise you're not getting shit.
Oh, yeah, I do there are ways to get around.
All right, let me ask you a question. What keeps you motivated to keep going back to travelling? Because it's been for different reasons. It hasn't been... Canada is the new venture sort of thing, but that's not why you went to Europe. It's not why you went to Korea.
No. I mean, look, I think that... the way I kind of retell it, I'm not sure if it was that at the time, but the way I retell it is that I'm always running away from something. so, you know, I hate Melbourne or, you know, my family life, all that sort of stuff. So, and I was always, you know, being pushed away by my surrounds here.
Yeah.
But, you know, the irony is that I didn't, I've never, like, lived by myself, you know,
Really?
in Melbourne, right?
But you've lived overseas by yourself.
Exactly. And that's why it's so much fun, blah, blah, blah. It's like, well, I haven't, what if I just fucking move out, you know?
Yeah.
Yeah. What would that be like? It's like, oh, shit.
You know, like living by yourself in Melbourne is going to be totally different than living overseas. Because even when you're overseas, you're still sort of temporary.
Yeah.
With the idea that you're eventually going to go, and you don't do any long-term investment shit. You know, you don't buy an expensive car for any reason. You don't fucking start. I mean, what about relationships overseas? How many did you start, and how many have you kept?
Dude, I mean, look, in terms of like friends or in terms of like, you know, girls?
Well, both.
So girls, not a great deal. You know,
You can't.
Yeah, you can't. But I did go to my friend's wedding in Palm Springs. So, you know, like I do have some good friends in California.
Yeah, I've still got some good friends like across the world from people I've met.
Yeah.
But like I remember whenever I think of traveling, man, I think of three people. I think of you. I think of this the girl that I actually met in Holland, who was Finnish, who I met in Cambodia originally and came to Thailand with us. Right? Yeah, I know. Yeah, look at your eyes.
Trying to figure it out.
Yeah, just like fucking doing these ones.
Yeah.
All right. And there's this one other guy, man. He's Israeli. Was he Israeli? He's from Melbourne. And he was like that, man. Like literally 9 months of the year, he'd be gone, come back for a short stint, fuck off straight away.
Yeah.
And he's got crazy stories, man. Like going through South America, like on a boat, like around the coast and random shit. And the last time I physically sat down and had a coffee with him, this was years ago. And he said, he goes, he wants to come back. I said, why? He goes, it gets lonely. He goes, you know, I did 8 months or something through South America with like this incredible woman, and then we went together. We flew to Europe, and I think they did Israel or something in North Africa, and then it was just like, well, I'm going this way.
Yeah.
He's like, what do you mean? It's like, well, my plan is to go here.
Yeah.
I don't want to go there, and that's the end of it.
Yeah.
He goes, he just got sick and tired of like starting these relationships and then just having him sort of just hit the bridge, the fork, and then that was the end of it. Does that make sense?
Totally.
Do you feel isolated when you go away like that?
So sometimes, it's about, like traveling's great, and you get to see, and travelling by yourself is awesome because you get to meet a whole bunch of people.
Yeah, I agree.
But when you are travelling by yourself, you don't get to share it with someone. And
Exactly what I said in 2009, man.
Yeah, and so
5 countries, 3.5 months, and I did most of it on my own.
Yeah, and like you have all these experiences, and you know, that's why, like, meeting up with friends that I've met overseas, they're like, oh, remember when? And then you kind of reminisce, and it's awesome, and you get kind of more value from that.
Yeah.
But if you're doing stuff by yourself, you know, it almost sounds like boasting as well. Especially in Australia, like, no one wants to hear that shit.
No. If you didn't go to Bali for like 2 weeks at Christmas, then like if it's more than that, then you're useless. Or a Kentucky tour.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, look, I don't. Like that's all part of traveling, right? So you know, people like I've met girls or you know, people abroad, and they get upset, and it's like, dude, that's all part of it, you know. It's all part of like being able to connect with someone as you know, really quickly, and then you know, in 3 days they're gone. You know, so
yeah, man. I went through my old photos the other day, and I looked back at like the trip to the States. I looked at my time in Greece on my own, back through the winter, seeing all these photos of people, man, like travelers that I met, like in New York at hostels and shit, and thinking, man, these guys are fucking cool. Some of them, like, you know, I touched base with again. I remember an English kid came to Melbourne, like, you know, a couple of years later, and I'm like caught up with him again, and all we did was go for a beer down at like Bridie's on Chapel, you know, for about an hour or two. It was brilliant. Like, great kid. If you lived in the area, or I lived up over there, could be best of friends.
Totally, yeah.
But then they disappear. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Look, I mean, the irony is that I'd be somewhere else, but the money is too good here. So,
yeah,
you know, I'd be in Europe somewhere, or I'd be, you know, in the States or whatever. But it's just you get any job here, and if you work, if you work for a certain amount of time, minimum wage is enough to survive. you know,
Yeah.
and save and go on a little holiday.
Can you honestly say that? Can you say that, like, with all your traveling, with all your living overseas and all that sort of shit, can you say that we are actually fortunate here? What do you reckon the
good
downside
question.
is?
Downsides were quite isolated.
Yeah,
Yeah.
easily. Like, I can.
Yeah.
Like, my cousin that just came. Yeah, like
Yeah.
we went interstate for a trip, and then like I took him to Lawn because he wanted to see the 12 Apostles and all that sort of shit. So I was showing him that, and I convinced him to go to New Zealand. Because I'm like, dude, you're here. He's got some German friends there that were in Greece, you know, while he was working the islands, and he's like, should I go? Should I not go? Dude, every time I come to Europe, every time I go to Greece, I always try and make one trip like to somewhere where I haven't been, whether it's Spain or fucking whatever.
Yeah.
Do it. I mean, you're here. That, if all we have to see is New Zealand, then go fucking see New Zealand.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
That's it. Yeah. I mean, that's what it is, I guess, you know, because like Australia is kind of, you know, you go to Sydney, okay, you know.
Sydney's Sydney. If
Yeah.
I didn't have friends there, then there's probably no more reasons to go other than the beach.
Yeah. And then you go to Queensland, and it's like it's similar attitudes, similar sort of ways of thinking. You're not really like it's the same. It's the same, and so you know, for people, I tell them, you know, go travel, do your thing, like
Yeah.
you know, go out and explore and do these things. And for me, there's this like pining. That what I like about traveling is that you end up doing some epic shit. And I come back here, and time again, I'm never getting into epic shit here. I'm like, why is that? What's going on? You know?
Why do you think you don't get into epic shit here?
Probably because I'm a local, you know, and it's easier overseas to be like, oh, I got this accent, you know?
It depends on what you define as epic, though. You know, because some people staying up past 1 a.m. is epic.
Yeah, right.
You know.
Well, do you want to hear a story? Or?
Okay.
Yeah.
You can actually give me the truth on this story? Or is it going to be...
Dude, I mean, I got this wicked story because it's like a multi-part story. But what I'll say is this: so I went to, my car broke down the
Death Valley.
Just outside Death Valley. Yeah. And so the plan B was to continue with my trip, but then like fly to New York.
Yeah.
And so I flew to New York, and I have a family friend in New York in Manhattan, and I stayed there.
Which part? Which part of Manhattan?
Park and 26, I think.
Okay, so down the bottom. Isn't that like Hell's Kitchen somewhere?
No, Hell's Kitchens is so basically it's near the Flatiron building.
Okay.
Yeah. Basically I said to Facebook, I was like, look, I've already been here. You know, I've already seen New York. What should I do? You know, and keep it like New York inspired, right?
Yeah.
And you know, so it was like, you know, you see a New York City rat, and you know, eat a pizza, and like, you know, this type of shit. Go to the Bronx, and you know, photograph a celebrity, do things you wouldn't normally do, etc. Right?
Yeah.
And so so one of the things was going to a comedy, comedy club, right?
Yeah.
So I went to Gotham Comedy Club with a person, and at these clubs in LA and in New York, if you go, sometimes there's like famous comedians.
Just do a set. Like
They'll just they'll do randomly, they're not announced.
Yeah.
And I just happened to be at the Gotham Comedy Club, and Jim Gaffigan performed.
Cool.
Yeah, that was pretty cool. But then the host was like, ladies and gentlemen, you're so lucky, but please welcome Mr. Jerry Seinfeld.
No shit.
And I lost my shit.
You saw Jerry Seinfeld do an unannounced set?
Yeah, it was sick.
When?
When was this? June? Or July?
2019?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, I was
Cool.
losing it, man. I was losing it. So, I was like slamming the table, and the beer's like almost, you know, jumping off the table.
At that point, security
Yeah,
takes you outside.
almost, right? and not only that, man, he does his set, it's hilarious, and, you know, at the end of his sets, he gets, you know, people to ask a question.
Yeah.
Yeah. And I'm like, I gotta fucking ask a question.
Yeah, what'd you
know?
ask?
I asked how much his shoes were, so...
Are you serious?
Yeah.
You asked his runners. He's fucking sneaky.
Yeah, exactly. He's wearing runners. What's the deal with the runners? You know?
What's the deal?
Yeah. And, you know, anyway, he's like saying like, you know, it was very funny, and it's basically, it's not the shoes that you want to know how much they are. It's how much money I make, you know, etc. I'm like losing it. I come out of the club. I'm like really just having a good time. And I've set up a Tinder date. Right?
Of course you have.
Yeah. So I go to this Tinder date, and on my Tinder profile, I've got these suggestions, and in the form of a bingo, New York City bingo, and it says, you know, the line is, you know, help me get New York City bingo, right? So she's responded to that.
Yeah.
I meet this girl. I'm super excited. I'm in the right mood, you know.
Yeah.
And so she's from LA, and she's building a sculpture in Soho in New York, and she needs some help.
This sounds like...
I mean, it's just like, what? So I've just seen Jerry Seinfeld. She needs some help. I'm like, I'm gonna help you. And so then I just start working.
What are you doing?
I'm helping build a whale tail out of aluminium cans, and I can show you a picture.
Are you serious?
Yeah. So
This is your Tinder date?
This is
Hang on, wait a second. You got hustled, man.
No, man. This is it. Right? That's the whale tail that
It's pretty boxy.
that I built and helped build.
That's pretty cool.
Yeah, and I got paid cash, and you know, super illegal. But
So your Tinder date hired you as an immigrant worker.
Yeah, doesn't stop there. Obviously, you know, some stuff happened, right?
Yeah.
You know, I was going to Montreal. I invited her to Montreal. She came for a few days, and that was great. And then, as I said, I was in LA. I was in Palm Springs for a wedding, right? I was like, hey, I'm coming to LA.
She's from LA.
She's from LA,
Okay.
right? I'm like, you know, oh, by the way, there was a launch party, and Adrian Grenier was there, and I took a photo, and all that other shit, right?
Just happened to miss out on the launch party with Adrian.
Yeah, and I went there, and then
You're fucked.
and then
That's
and then
the best bit out.
I know, but here's the thing:
The whale tail. You made some money.
Adrian Grenier and someone from the UN who had a security guard. It was insane. It was crazy. And
I love how your crescendo was the whale tail.
No, man, I'm getting to it. I'm getting to the crescendo. I'm in fucking LA. I'm like, hey, is there anything happening in LA? Like, let me know what's happening, because I'm going to be there this week. It's just, actually, there's this Impossible Foods event. You know, the Impossible Burger, Beyond Meat Burger.
Yeah, Beyond Meat. Yeah.
Yeah. So there's another company, Impossible, and I'm like, this sounds great. Get me in.
Yeah.
And then a week before, she's like, hey, we need some help. Right?
She's just recruiting you for work.
And I'm like, well, I'm like really pushing it. I'm like, yeah, fucking help. And so I got like 3 days work in LA, in Beverly Hills, no less, building this set, you know, or like for this event that John Legend and freaking Chrissy Teigen are at launching.
Not bad.
It was really, really fun. And then I got paid in a roll of 20s, and I'm like, fucking $750 in my hand.
20s.
In 20s. And
got jumped on the way back to
dude. And then the next night I was like, because I only had the weekend there, so I was just balling it. I was like buying people drinks. I was like, yeah, who wants a drink? Blah, blah, blah. You know? So it was really fun. And so like that's when you travel, that shit happens all the time.
Yeah, it does.
And it's like, fuck, man. Like, okay, maybe not working or whatever, but you're seeing crazy people, doing crazy things. And then you get back here and it's like, you know.
You know what it is?
Yeah.
Number one, you have to be traveling on your own. Like, you have to. There's no way. If you've got someone else to consider, then there's no way known that anything's going to happen. Because you're constantly just in the back of your head like, oh, where's B? I got to, you can't. All my shit like that happened really randomly was always, 100% solo, going through, especially Europe on my own. Like that's when those stories came out. 2, I feel like when you get back to Melbourne, man, you fall into your routine because you're sort of gradually building a base up again. Your brain mentality you don't allow yourself to do crazy shit because you got to get up at, 8 a.m. to go to work or whatever. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
I know when I always say my peak year was 2012. That's when I was doing the most media. That's when I was working full time as well. I was single and I was just fucking like bawling. Every night was just like an adventure because I had 24-hour block. Does that make sense? I would allow for 3-4 hours of sleep.
Yeah, right.
And that was it.
Right.
And then I would just fill in the blocks around that, whether it was work, whether it was seeing people, whether it was going out.
Yeah.
You could have called me at 2 a.m. and said, hey man, like you got to come to this. And I'm like, get done. And no questions asked. I'd be outside your house 20 minutes.
Yeah.
That's what the problem is. People get back to Melbourne and then they start realizing all their responsibilities kicking in and they just start playing it safe.
Man, we got.
Dude, look, dude, opportunities to do crazy shit come up. It's just we play it safe. We're
all the time. I mean, the entire Australian society is playing it safe.
Yeah.
You know, we gotta get a fucking house. Gotta, you know, save money for retirement. Get your super, all that shit.
Do you think the mentality is any different for locals overseas?
I would say in the States it kind of has to be, because you work minimum wage, you're still not surviving, right?
Yeah, it's bad. Dude, I saw someone had a baby. It cost like $40,000.
It's insane.
$40,000 to have a baby, man.
Yeah.
What the fuck?
Yeah. Yeah. It's crazy. So look, I mean, again, like if you want to have a kid and you want to grow, you know, raise them up and all that sort of stuff and have a family, Australia's fantastic for that. But I just don't think that we have the craziness as other countries and cultures and all that sort of stuff.
What other cultures would you say rank in form of crazy? Like what you just described now, that's the typically US sort of thing.
Yeah.
You know, Hollywood, random set, la la la. You know what I mean?
Yeah. I would say, you know, I wouldn't say like certain cities as well. I'm not saying all the states is like that either. So like Paris is kind of like that. London can be, and like Shanghai, you know.
Yeah.
Korea. So Seoul isn't. Vancouver isn't, even though there's the whole film industry there. It's quite safe as a
so
city.
you're talking about Paris, London, and New York. They're the biggest, oldest, like biggest fucking cities.
Yeah, and Shanghai is also fucking
Shanghai's
huge.
Huge, man.
Yeah. So, and that's the irony is that's what it is. You know, you got like, and then Cannes when the film festival's on. You know, so it's just like you got to be in the right place, the right time. And I think I got a feeling of that. You know, come Australian Open in Melbourne. You know, come Australian Open, come Melbourne Comedy Festival is a bit like that. If you know where to go. And
there's
stuff.
a vibe, especially when the comedy festival's running in Melbourne. Like, there's a vibe around town. Like, you sort of go out and there's shit going on every night. You know what I mean? Exactly. That comes down to the size of the city, man. And I've said this a lot to my cousin, because we're talking about, I said to him, you've come at the right time, because 10 years ago, you wouldn't have as many things to do randomly. You know, like, here now, man, it was like a Wednesday night walking through Russell Street and billboards was like going off. It's like, what the fuck's going on? What's happening? I go, no, club night. Like, lines out the door. It's just, what day is it? It's Wednesday. It's uni night. You know, Thursday, uni night.
Oh, I got a story about that.
What?
Real quick. So I work in Hawthorn, and I was dating a girl in Hawthorn, and we go out on a Tuesday night, and we go see some free comedy, and it's awesome. We go for a beer at Nevermind and get a beer, and then we go see.
Still going?
Yeah,
I remember Nevermind.
I know,
it was cool.
And then I know, right? Like, and then we go see some comedy, and that's fun, and it's free as well. And then it's like 9:30, and it's like, oh, what's to do? Because, you know, Hawthorn kind of closes down. I'm like, well, what about the Hawthorn? You know,
the pub.
And it's like, they'll still be open. And I'm thinking uni night's Thursday night, but it turns out it's Tuesday night.
Really?
So we get there, and like, we're kind of early, but it's like, it's pumping, you know, like the music is pumping, the bartender's like going off, and we're there just like with, you know, 31, 33, and, I feel like the mother and father of the kids, you know?
Yeah.
And you see these kids, man, and they're like 18, 19, and you see this dude, like, pick up this chick and, you know, give her a little twirl and then, like, make out with her. I'm like, yes, you know? Like, you're doing it! And then, and then the teeny boppers all come in and then we start dancing, and it's just like, fuck, Tuesday night at the Hawthorn, you know? Like,
going off.
Yeah, so, I mean, you definitely can have those things, as you're right, but like, oh, it's fucking a work night, you know?
I think that says more about the people that you hang out with, man.
Yeah.
Seriously. Because we get really stuck, especially as Greeks in Melbourne, man, we get stuck in our little enclaves of fucking douches, and they get caught up in that shit. They'd rather binge watch a series and, you know, spend 8 hours playing something.
Yeah, totally. I mean, like, I just need any excuse to get out of the house.
Yeah, dude.
Yeah.
I used to be like that as well, man. I'm flat off my feet now, but...
Well, this is what I'm saying. Like, if I don't have anything to do, I'll just fucking procrastinate and leave all the chores, all that sort of stuff. I'll procrastinate if I have nothing to do. If I have something to do, like, I'm like busy. You know what I mean?
Busy.
I don't know what to say. Like, it's a condition I have.
How long do you reckon you can keep doing this though? Like, going back and forth?
Really, you're really coming back to this.
I really want to know because honestly, man, like the isolation of it really does get to you. I remember a lot of times when I'd be sitting in an airport or just in some fucking random room with nothing real to actually do for that hour or two, and I'm just like, fuck, like, you're just emptiness, man.
I don't. That part of traveling, I don't mind. It's more like, what's my future, that I kind of worry about.
Yeah.
And, you know, I'm pretty much saying that this is the last go around, until it's not, you know, because like either I'm going to be an English teacher teaching around the world, or it's, you know, let's get a proper career going, you know, and so maybe I start marketing for a school, and that's what's going to get me overseas, and, you know, promoting the school overseas. But I mean, apart from that, like, I don't see myself. I need to, as you say, establish roots and get into a career and start making some real cash.
I'm not. I don't give a fuck about establishing roots in the traditional sense of, like, you know, corporate ladder bullshit, blah 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 blah. Because clearly, you know, a third of my fucking budget of my salary goes to this stupid room, and you know, I'm not making any fucking money out of it, right? Like,
it's fun though, right?
Well, that's the point. It's all about passion and, like, what you actually want to do. How do you stay motivated to keep getting up to do the grind? What motivates you to actually do all the traveling and do all that sort of shit?
Well, I don't see it as a grind, right? So I think the travel is what's motivating, right? It's for me, at least. That's what I like doing. Like, once I'm overseas, once I'm on that plane, man, like, it's like, yeah, okay, what are we doing?
Yeah,
you know?
it's an adventure starting again.
Exactly, and it's like, I'm not bored when I'm traveling. When I'm in a city trying to, you know, find work and stuff, sometimes it can get a bit like that. But like when I'm road tripping or just backpacking around, it's like, okay, I'm in a new city. What do I do? You know, and it's exciting, and I meet people. Like, you would think that, okay, in your 20s is when you're going to meet all these travelers, and that is true. But I've seen people travel all, like, every age. You know, I've seen travelers they're still traveling in their 40s, you know. And, you know, for me, that's kind of inspiring, I guess. You know, but there was a period there where I was like, I want to be like a fucking digital nomad, you know?
Digital nomad.
I want to be able to be on my laptop in Bali and just sell everything. But I mean, the reality is that you've got to do a lot more work than what it sounds like on Instagram.
I fucking hate those stupid Instagram influencers.
Hate them.
I hate the ones that. Did you see the ones that got busted because I think they were Germans. Covered, like, one was covered in head to toe in tats. They were models, like, ugly as sin, and they put out like a GoFundMe to fund their trips because someone's parents couldn't afford it anymore.
Oh, dude, it's people fucking, like, not sell their houses, but, like, rent out their houses and stuff, and take their whole family and all that sort of stuff. And look, it can work for them, but for me, the way it's worked is really just working overseas, so teaching English.
So you're lucky you've got that as a commodity, man, that you can teach English.
I guess so.
Where do you get your curriculum from? That's what I want to know. Like, when you were in Korea, where did your curriculum come from?
What they were doing in the main English. So I was teaching in middle school, and they had English classes, and then they would have, you know, the foreign English teacher.
Yeah.
And so I'd have to model whatever they're learning at the time. And then other stuff is, like, you know, books. There's books. Yeah. Books. Well, I mean, like, there's about 3 textbooks that are really good, and I've used them all. And then, but you do this. I'm now like 4.5 years of solid teaching, and, you know, like, I can walk into a room tomorrow and just start teaching. Like, it's not. It's the same shit. You know what I mean?
Yeah, fair enough.
Yeah. So you go in, you're like, all right, cool. What are we doing? Okay, we're doing future tense. All right, great. You know,
teaching's one thing that you could do overseas on the run. What else could you do, though, for work?
That's the thing. IT. That's also big.
In what sense?
So I've met a lot of people that have either gotten a remote job, right, where they can work remotely. So, like, a lot of Filipinos and stuff, for example, they'll work remotely, but they won't necessarily stay in the Philippines. But they'll be getting, you know, shitty wages. So yeah, a lot of them in Cyprus, actually. or you started out in Germany or something for an IT company,
Yeah.
and then like slowly you're negotiating like 1 day and then 2 days off, and then eventually it's like, hey, can I just work remotely? And then those guys tend to do well, and then there's the entrepreneurs and stuff. And look, I'm not shitting on them because they're obviously making it work, but it's also really difficult. And then there's like fucking like poker players, online poker, and all just like weird
that's
shit.
a different niche, man. You got that
Yeah.
Vitali guy that's just selling that Bang energy drink and then pimping birds out.
Yeah, and then
For his
drop
Instagram
shipping
account.
is another one that people
Yeah.
do, and just like it's just if you can get on something, like if you can get on something that's making you money, then essentially you don't need a shit ton of money. You need like 20 grand a year, and you can live very comfortably in Southeast Asia.
Without having assets and shit tying you down here that are like milking you, basically, though.
Yeah, well, there won't be assets if they're milking you, right?
No, but
They're liabilities, right?
well, that's the thing. Is a house an asset or a liability?
But you're paying on it, right?
It's an asset once you've owned it.
Yeah,
When you don't own it, it's a liability.
yeah.
But then how you have to put in 30 years of work in order to own it. it's a catch-22, man.
Yeah, man.
And that's what really pisses me off. Like, our parents never told us that. When we were kids, it was just like, work, save, buy a house, have a family, blah, blah, blah. Then you realise, we've got to work 30 years?
So there was a journalist that I was talking to before I went to Canada, and she rang me up looking for.
Why do I feel like they're all looking for dick? Like,
No.
All these people that are calling you up randomly, you know what I mean?
No, so I had done a story with her in
I'm sure you
Melbourne,
did.
and then she was doing another story, and she was
course,
thinking
yeah.
like
Yeah, yeah.
because I'm younger,
of
if I knew
course.
anyone.
Yeah, there's that young, good-looking kid that...
The point
myself call him.
the point is that I asked her, I was like, I'm not sure whether I should just like get my career, like I'm turning, I was 29 at the time, I'm turning 30, I don't know if I should go to start my career and like really just start working at it, or go to Canada.
Yeah.
And then I was like, I'm not sure, because I want to buy a house, and she's like, you've got 30 years to buy a house, you've got a long time.
Yeah.
A mortgage is a long time, so just go to Canada. And I was like, all right. And this is like, a lot of people told me a lot of stuff, but like that really resonated with me. And it's like, well, there you go. Yeah. You know what I mean? Like, I don't know. Like, so yeah, I don't have a house.
It
And
depends where you want to buy a house. Maybe you want to buy a house in Athens. Who knows?
well, that's it. I'm not even sure if I'm going to buy something now,
Yeah. You've obviously got a taste for the life overseas, and it resonates. I still think that the crazy element of it will disappear once you become a resident somewhere, and you fall into your sort of fucking rhythm of like routine. Does that make sense?
Yeah. Well, I mean, yeah.
You fly off the seat of your pants a lot.
Yeah, look, yes, yeah. And like I've been thinking about like doing extra study,
What do you want to do?
whatever. I want to be a student again,
you want to be one of those guys.
Just like, but like it's kind of like it's nice. It's nice to be in that university spirit and just,
Yeah, but then you'd be like Van Wilder, like 7 years older than everyone else.
Yeah, no, but I mean do a master's, but so
Big man on campus.
but I don't know.
Sir,
it's
I'm 19.
But it's just like, being able to set down to have medium-term goals, and for me, it's always been about short-term goals. Now I'm looking into medium and / long-term goals, and for me, doing something like we're committing for 2-3 years is more my speed. I don't want to commit for 5-10 years, man, or for 30 years on a mortgage, when I can't service it, so I'm a bit like that.
They use the word service. That's just what made me laugh.
People have been servicing you for a real long time, haven't they? Yeah.
You're fucking not right, man.